Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Yeah, sorry about that. We was waiting to get Danny in to the chat. Danny's struggling, I think, at the moment with Danny from This Is My Life, and that's why we were a tad bit behind. But there we go. Hopefully, Danny's watching and attempting to rectify that issue. But there we go. So anyway, so welcome back to another episode of AJ and Matt Chats. Or AJ and Matt Chat. AJ and Matt Chats. I've done it that way around because it rhymes. Matt and Chat rhymes. That's why AJ and Matt Chat. Anyway, I'm still finessing the word in there. But there we go. So, yeah, so obviously Matt's back with me down below. And
Hi.
Outside we've got Dan. There's two Dans. There's too many Dans. I was saying this just now. Danny, Dan's Man Cave, Excessive Dan.
It's a really common name.
Well, yeah.
To be fair, I do have an uncle named Dan as well. So
Dan from Australia. Bear in mind, it's like 1 a.m. for him.
Yeah, something like that.
There. Luckily, he's not working tomorrow. And Michael from Michael's Movie Corner down there.
Hello.
And Matt, did I say Matt? I did say Matt, yes.
You did. Yeah.
So, I didn't have nothing on the agenda for today, thematically. I thought we could just, take questions from anyone about anything that you want, whatever, film, TV, physical media, all that. But let's go around the room. I'll start to my left, that side. Dan, I don't know how it is for everyone else. Dan, how have you been? What have you been up to? What's new with you? Have you watched anything new lately? Have you picked anything new up lately?
Well,
tell people about your channel a little bit as well.
Okay, yeah, sure. So my channel is on YouTube, Oceans Reviews. I pretty much do
No, something's happened. What's going on?
I don't know. We've all moved places now.
We have.
Yeah, that was weird. It sort of switched around.
Really weird.
Yeah, that's in the same position, but you two have moved up and down.
Maybe it's Danny trying to join in or something. I don't know.
So carry on.
But yeah, so I just do Blu-ray pickup videos, that sort of stuff, reviews. I've started a collectible sort of, I guess, talk series on my channel. I talk about some special editions in my collection. Yeah, that's about it at the moment. But yeah, I know coming up, like video-wise, I've picked out some movies from my collection that I think are underrated, and I'm going to be talking about those in a video. And I've just got some Nicolas Cage movie reviews coming up. They come out every, I guess, weekend. Now I've sort of done that.
I was going to ask if you had any more Cages on the way.
So tomorrow I'll have a review for Adaptation coming out.
Okay.
So I've watched that, and then a few more in the coming weeks. But yeah,
Captain Corelli's Mandolin. Have you heard of that one?
No, I haven't.
Oh, was it Mandolin? Yeah, Mandolin. Yeah, Captain Corelli's Mandolin with him and Penelope Cruz. Not that I can remember.
He's done so much. I feel like I won't even make a dent in his filmography, to be honest.
He's done a lot the past few years. Yeah, a lot of the stuff. But there we go. So, Michael, what about yourself, mate? What have you been up to?
Well, lately I've been just filming for the 30th recent DVD and Blu-ray pickup, as well as gearing up to film a special live DVD and Blu-ray hunt, which was going to come out towards the end of this month, since I'm filming it in 2 weeks, but I'm actually going to push that back to December. So I'm actually not going to be hunting in my hometown this time. I'm actually going to be hunting up in Dublin, which means instead of just going to the same old places week in, week out, striking out in a lot of them, Dublin's a big city, so I'm hoping to get a lot of good finds up there. And some of my most recent pickups was the series 2 of Doctor Who on volumes that AJ sent to me kindly for free, which I really do appreciate that. And as well, I got Series 7 Part 2 on Blu-ray from Movie Magpie off of eBay. Had to pay like a $5 import fees for that.
Cool. Superb. But yeah, no, you're welcome with that. They were just sat in boxes doing nothing. But it's just taken me about a quarter of a year to get them to you.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm just happy to have it in the collection because in the new year, I do plan on doing another mega review, starting with Series 2, because there's still a good few episodes that I have not seen since it aired back in 2006.
Okay, all right, cool. We've got Dan in. Danny. Down as Dan, not to confuse. Hi, Danny, how you doing? So
Yeah,
you sorted out your issues then?
yeah, it was this basically. So
All
I
right,
switched
so-
to my iPad.
Superb. Well, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Glad to have you in.
Yeah. You too.
You know everyone, don't you? You know Michael.
Yeah,
you
I
know
do, yeah.
the other Dan.
Down,
Right,
Danny.
Matt, Dan, Michael.
And so you don't mind me. So if when I talk, what I'll do, you don't mind if I refer to you as Danny and Oceans as
no.
Dan, do you?
Right.
That's cool. Just to to try and confuse things less. But yeah, so what we were doing, Danny, we were just going around saying a little bit about our channels, people were, and if they've had anything recently they've picked up, what they've got on the horizon, that sort of thing. So you've missed out on Michael and Dan. So do you want to, Michael? Did you finish? Sorry. Or
Yeah, I finished.
All right, okay. So Danny, do you want to just give a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So my channel is basically a variety channel. So I do film, games, walkabouts, the odd live here and there, and unboxings if I get something, pickups. That's about it, really.
Superb. And have you picked anything up lately? I know you have.
Yeah.
What have you rushed down to HMV for?
Well, that Austin Powers box set.
Yeah, it's a nice
So,
box set.
I bet you were the first video I saw online, and I thought, well, I really love the movies, and I think HMV actually charge for phone calls now, so it's probably cost me about £5 to ring the head office.
Yeah.
I didn't want to lose out on the box set, so I just went and grabbed it, and yeah, they had 3 left.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
I watched them all the other day. I watched them all back to back. When I get into the Austin Powers, I have to watch all 3 together. I think they're fantastic. But no, that's great. That's great. And Matt, what about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, last video I showed was obviously got those pickups. Well, those gifts from Dan's Man Cave.
Yeah.
He said he was going to send me that Haywire, which was really nice of him. But then the package came through, and it was like, "What's this?"
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely fantastic. Sort of, there's a few westerns in there, which I mean, I've only really got 3 western films, the Dollars trilogy, which are fantastic. I think that's a good starting point if you want to dip your toe into westerns.
Yeah.
But he sent me a few more. Got Cyborg, the Jean-Claude Van Damme film from back in the sort of 90s, which I don't think I've ever seen that. So looking forward to checking that out. But that Haywire, that's got a big cast, doesn't it? Michael Fassbender, Antonio Banderas, Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Ewan
McGregor.
Carano. Sorry?
Ewan McGregor is he in it?
Ewan McGregor. Yeah,
He's in it.
I was absolutely, when I looked at it, I thought, God, not really heard
That's
of
right.
this film before, and this has got a stellar cast in it. So yeah, really looking forward to sort of checking that one out. Definitely.
Now, was it Cyborg? I don't know if it's they done a script for a second. I may be remembering this wrong, so if anyone knows, correct me. They done a script for a second Masters of the Universe film. The Dolph Lundgren one. And when they didn't make it, I think the script of that was actually reworked for Cyborg.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because somebody I can't remember who it was, but somebody put a comment I think it might have been Bal, B-A-L, you know, the guy
Yeah,
comments.
yeah.
I'm sure he put that on there about what you've just said. So, yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. It's funny how those things. So let's have a look at who's about. So we've got the Film Fanatic. I'm sorry, I forget your name. Was it Owen or something like that? It's the young lad who appeared in the Railway Children remake for a brief second. But anyway, how are you keeping? Hope you're well. Stephen Luffy said we're starting late. Yeah, we covered that one. We was waiting for Danny, who held us up with his technical issues.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just watching the film Ready or Not. Anyone seen that?
Yeah,
No.
I've seen it.
Yeah, that's the one with the what's her face? I forget the actress's name. I think she's Australian, isn't she? She's
I
Australian.
wouldn't have a clue.
And she goes into that. She's like the bride, isn't she? And she goes into
Yeah,
that house
she,
and everyone tries to kill her.
Yeah. A lot of people
Um,
seem to like that one.
Yeah, I know it done it. I know that it was a lot of people liked it, but no one else seen it other than Dan. No,
No,
Nope.
not yet.
I've
Oh.
heard of it. I just don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I forget the actress's name, but I have seen it. Yeah, it was all right. I'm excited for Bonfire of the Vanities, which is on Channel 4 tonight. No, Bonfire night. Anyone doing anything tonight, considering it's Guy Fawkes?
We don't do anything over here in Ireland about it, so it's got nothing to do with me.
Oh, okay. Do you do Halloween over there in Ireland?
Oh yeah, we do. Barely as much lately. I mean, this past Halloween, I think I had 2 trick-or-treaters knocking at my door, which I promptly ignored because if I'm buying sweets, I'm gonna keep it for myself.
All right, fair enough. What about over in Australia? I mean, obviously you don't have you have got a bonfire night because it's to do with the Parliament and Guy Fawkes and all that. But what about Halloween? Do you do that over there?
No, not really. Like, it's funny, like when I used to go Halloweening when I was a kid, you'd knock on someone's door and they'd say, "That's an American tradition. What do you do?" Like they kind of get angry at you, like for participating in Halloween here. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was a lad, it wasn't really done here, but now it's more prominent.
Technically, though, it is a pagan festival. It All Hallows Eve is actually
it originated here in Ireland for that. And then when the Irish immigrated over to America during the Great Famine, that's when it started really so much over there, and then it became commercialized.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just reading down into some of the questions. I set myself up earlier. So, what about? Did you have any? You're not doing anything tonight, Danny?
No, not really. I'm just doing Remembrance Sunday. So
Okay.
I did buy the badge, the little pin badge.
Yeah.
Just to support them that way. But other than that, I'm not doing anything. Got to change my bookcases out, and I told you what happened earlier. So
yes.
Yeah. So I'll be doing that later on today.
Joe, I haven't seen no poppy sellers this year.
Yeah.
Bit of a thingy. But anyway, yeah. So there you go, Matt. Here's one for you.
I don't. No, I don't do Facebook, to be honest. I'm in Instagram over there, but no, Facebook's not really for me, to be honest.
No.
Way as well, like I deleted the app off of my phone, and then as well I finally deleted my Twitter account. So now myself, I just have Instagram.
Yeah. Danny's on. You got your Facebook, haven't you?
Yeah,
Dan.
I have. Yeah.
Danny. Sorry.
Yeah. So if you're on Facebook, just feel free to come and see what's going on. So.
Yeah. And what's it? It's the same as your channel name.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
This is your life. This is my life. Your life, but my life.
Not
exactly. What about yourself, Dan, from Australia? Do you do
What?
Facebook?
I've got well, I've got my personal Facebook, of course. I know it's kind of that I've followed a few, like, I guess, like, what, movie groups on there. Some of them
Yeah.
are quite interesting. So there's a few communities on there that are quite interesting to get involved with. But no, I just Instagram. Like, I don't use anything else. Like, yeah, I've never been a Twitter person or nothing like that. Or yeah, just Instagram really.
No, I used to do. I mean, I've got Facebook under my channel name, but I don't have a personal Facebook. I did maybe about 12 years ago, for about 10 years before that, when Facebook first came about. But then probably 10 years, wasn't it? I don't know. But it was about 12 years ago I came off of it because it is a very, very toxic environment.
No, it definitely is.
It's a horrible, horrible place. But there we go. Ian's messaging. Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well.
Right.
How's it going, Ian?
Hope you're keeping well, mate. Alan, Kermit.
Hey, Alan.
Right.
Hope you're all right, mate. Yeah, check out Resident Alien if you get a chance. Are you excited to watch Black Panther: Wakanda Forever? Let's go around the room. Let's go with Danny first. Danny, what are your thoughts on Black Panther 2 coming?
I'm not terribly excited.
Fair enough.
I
Any
like
reasons?
the first one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I preferred the other actor.
Okay.
I know it's not around, but I think they bleed it too much.
Yeah.
So, you know, I tend to fall in out of love with MCU and all that at the moment.
Yeah, I can understand.
Yeah. So it's a bit too much, especially with Disney, and they put too much on Disney. But
Yeah.
they don't even bring it out either. So, you know, you
No.
just fall out of love with it, don't you? So
I know what you're
I
saying.
know for Marvel. So yeah.
Let's go along to Matt. I'm going to go round the bottom and up for how it looks to me.
Okay.
Black Panther 2.
I mean, the first trailer I was quite impressed by. I thought this looks interesting. But the subsequent trailers, yeah, I think we're all suffering from a little bit of fatigue, to be honest, because there's just so much content coming out now. I mean, I haven't even watched Thor: Love and Thunder yet, partly because a lot of what people are saying, it sounds a bit over the top, a bit silly. I will get round to it, but again, I won't be going to the cinema to see it. I'll just wait for Disney Plus.
45 days. That's all.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Dan?
I mean, yeah, I won't be going to see it. That's for sure. Like in the cinemas.
We've lost Danny for some reason. But anyway, carry on. I'm sure you'll pop back in.
But I don't know. It feels like it could be maybe a redemption movie, though, almost like for for Marvel. And I feel like a lot of people want it to be good. So I've got high hopes for it. I hope it's a good movie, but I don't know. Yeah, it's like you're a bit 50-50 on it. You don't really know what direction it's going to go. But I'll probably just wait until it comes out on Disney Plus and watch it then. Like, I'm not overly excited for it, but I've got a sneaky feeling that it might be a redemption movie, maybe for them, and go back on track, sort of thing for Marvel. But I don't know. We'll have to see, I think.
Yeah. What about yourself, Michael? Is that something that intrigues you?
I like the rest of you guys. I'm just gonna wait for it to go on Disney Plus. I liked the first one, but it wasn't like as great as people were saying. Like, I didn't like the fight scene towards the end. But I probably will watch it as soon as it comes out on Disney Plus, like I did with Thor: Love and Thunder, which I thought was all right. That's probably what I'm going to be doing with most of the Disney projects moving forward, is just watch the ones that tickles my fancy and just watch, get read up of what's happening in the other projects that I haven't seen yet.
Fair enough. I mean, me myself, I'm not excited for it. I didn't see the first one at the cinema. It's not a character I've really read in the comics as such. You know, I was aware of him, but not really read the character. And I don't know. But it is that sort of Marvel fatigue thing. I'm feeling it. The 45 days. Danny says he's trying to get back on, by the way.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's
Yeah.
got internet problem.
Yeah. So once you sort that out, Dan, just come back in. I'll add you back on it. Yeah. So I'm not interested. Well, I'm not. I will watch it, but it's got to be a Disney Plus watch. In no rush. When it's just 45 days, that time just flies by so quick now. But yeah. So Video Tasties, Gareth here from Video Tasties says, "Hey, you guys."
Hi, Gareth.
Now, does anyone else hear that in a certain voice?
Kind of, but I don't know where it's from.
Okay, because I hear it from the Goonies.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, I haven't seen the Goonies in a while.
Yeah, Matt wouldn't know. Well, Matt didn't like the Goonies, actually, did you, Matt?
Only watching it as
recently.
an adult. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it once as a kid, and I did like it. Like I keep seeing the DVD in my local CEX for like $3.50. I'm like, I should really pick this up, and then I just don't.
Danny's back.
All right, guys.
Come on, Dan.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So what about you, Danny? Have you seen the Goonies?
Many years ago I've seen it, but I've really enjoyed the film as well.
Okay, all right, cool.
Did they do a steel book of it? I'm not 100% sure.
They did, yes, they did.
Yeah.
Several, I
So
think.
I'm after.
Yeah.
Several.
It's had several.
Titans of Cult.
That's right. Yeah, Titans of Cult did, yes, and there was others. What about you, Dan? Is Goonies one that you've seen?
Yeah, I've seen it like maybe a couple times, but you know, it's not something that I grew up with. So it's like I, you know, wouldn't say I was overly fond with it. You know, I thought it was good, but you know, it's that sort of thing. I feel like you have to grow up with it to really enjoy it and be a big fan of it. But I did like it. It was good. You know, it was a good film. Didn't really have a problem with it. But,
Cool.
yeah.
I enjoy it because I grew up with it and I watched it at the right age, so it very much played into being a kid and what we used to do in the 80s and the sort of imagination that we had and things like that. Matt sneezing away. Let's see where we at. Sorry. Stephen says Angelina Jolie starred in Cyborg 2. I didn't know that.
Okay.
I had no idea.
It's
And
been
the
an
broad
early
on-
part for her.
Oh yeah, the broad in Ready or Not is the one who played in the Netflix film The Babysitter. Yes, that's right. Did she do The Babysitter before that? I think she may have done just before that came out. And then there was a Babysitter 2. And did she have a cameo in it? I think she might have had just a cameo. I've not seen the second one. Anyone seen The Babysitter?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the end of that one then. Film Fanatic. I have been making a script for a movie and one day I might hand it in and hopefully 20th Century Fox will accept it. Another Home Alone film, but this time it's going to star Macaulay Culkin. So that would be Disney now. That would go to. So an aged Macaulay Culkin in a Home Alone. All right, okay. I know that Film Fanatic does ask in a minute what would we call it? Yes, what name would you give that film? Considering he's older, think about it. Stephen had a lot of trick-or-treaters. Here's a question to get your teeth into, and this is the one I set myself up for earlier. So I'm going to go last on this, and it may take a little while to get around the room. Worst 2 Batman films and why?
Well, I can exclude myself from this question because there's not a lot of Batman films that I have seen, if at all. I think the only one that I've seen fully was Batman and Robin, which I actually did enjoy.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so let's go to Dan in Australia. Dan,
Okay,
Batman.
well, I mean, I'm a bit with Michael on this one because I haven't seen all the Batman films, but Now, I've seen Batman and Robin. It's kind of weird that we've seen Batman and Robin out of all of them, like those original like movies.
Yeah.
But I'd say my least favorite, I guess, over like rewatching it over the years, has been The Dark Knight Rises. I don't know. I feel like it just sort of gets weaker and weaker as a movie as time goes on, compared to the others in the trilogy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just feels the weakest link of that trilogy. But all the other ones that I've seen I guess they're pretty good. I mean, when I watched Batman and Robin, I was a kid, so you don't really know any better. Like when you're going into it, I don't know. Kind of enjoy Arnold in that one. So
I can tell you why that's the weakest.
Okay.
My theory, anyway. They backed themselves into a corner. They were a victim of their own success with The Dark Knight. Once they'd done The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight was released and got the critical acclaim that it did, at that point, they knew they had nowhere to go but down. There's nothing they could do.
Oh, yeah.
I
guess, yeah.
The only thing they could possibly do is give the film series a conclusion and wrap it all up. And they were forced into that sort of a scenario. They wouldn't say they was, but that's what I believe. Because if they'd done a fourth one after the third, you're probably looking at another decrease and criticism. No matter what they'd done with the third, it would have been criticised because of how good that second one actually was. Just a victim of their own success, that series.
I would disagree with you actually there.
Go on.
Because I would say that actually I really enjoyed The Dark Knight Rises. I thought it was the perfect conclusion to the trilogy myself. I thought Bane was, obviously you were introduced to Bane as being the main character, but the main villain, shall we say, but actually behind him was Ra's al Ghul's daughter, and I thought having Catwoman in it was great. I mean, obviously Michelle Pfeiffer was fantastic in the original film. But I thought Anne Hathaway brought a very much a different kind of Catwoman to what we saw in the Tim Burton. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoy the whole trilogy.
Okay,
myself.
So how would you rate that one compared to the other two?
Equally, I would say all three films for me have got their own, good part to them. The first one, very much an origin story. Yeah, it's really, I agree with you about the way that all the hallucinogenics and stuff, and putting that fear into people, them seeing the bat. I totally agree with that. But I'd say equally all three films. The second one, it's a fantastic performance by Heath Ledger. The Joker, but yeah, so I don't really think one is any better than the other. I think the whole trilogy is just perfect.
All right, so what's your worst two Batman films then? And why?
Batman and Robin is terrible. I mean, George Clooney, I didn't think much to him really. Very campy. I mean, Schwarzenegger hammed it up quite a lot. And the Batman Forever, after obviously Batman and Batman Returns, for me, just suddenly then went back to what we'd got in the 60s, that sort of goofy sort of stuff, obviously. I mean, I suppose Jim Carrey was great as the Riddler, but again, it all just got very wacky for me. And
yeah. Okay, well, what about you, Danny? What's your thoughts? Have you got two least favourite Batman films?
Yes, I do. It's quite a recent one. It's called The Batman.
Yeah.
And I got about halfway through, and I thought this isn't really showing much interest, so I just turned it off. And obviously, the other one is Batman Begins.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, so that's
Why
my
is that?
two least favourite.
Yeah.
didn't really click with me, to be honest. I kind of like the Michael Keaton era more.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah. So
Oh,
those
cool.
are my two. Yeah,
Oh, I see your Austin Powers over your left shoulder.
yeah. Just there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't
So
opened it yet.
you ain't opened it yet.
No. Gonna do a video, so
Oh, cool. I look forward to that. Okay, so for me, and this is where I set myself up because Gareth put a thing up on YouTube earlier saying that he was doing a Batman watch where he does watches with people. He's going to do the Batman films very soon, and I said, "Can you guess what my least two favourites are?" So anyway, my least two favourites. First one is Batman Forever. Film just doesn't work for me at all. I'm not a fan of Val Kilmer whatsoever as an actor, although I think he was very good in Tombstone. But outside of that, I've never liked him as an actor. So I didn't like his casting. I thought that the Riddler should have been played by Robin Williams. I wasn't happy with that casting there. I thought that, I like the casting of Tommy Lee Jones, but the writing of Two-Face just wasn't there. He just played it like the Joker. And I don't know, the film just, last watch I had, I didn't get to the end of it. I couldn't get to the end of it. It just drags. In my mind, there's a different version of that film with different people, better casting, and that sort of thing. And the other one for me is The Batman. Yes, The Batman, which is, we all know that I've said this before and upset a lot of people. The Batman didn't work for me. Pattinson, I don't think worked in the role. The film itself contradicts itself. So much so, right? And people ain't gonna. You got to see what I'm saying here. The Batman is the closest Batman project to the 1960s Batman era. Batman. I know people are thinking, well, Batman and Robin is visually, yeah, and tonally, but this film here, this is the only time we've ever seen Batman walking around with police, with a Gotham police force solving crimes. I know there's a little bit of it in Batman and Robin, but here the film sets up the character of Batman at the beginning to be this feared creature of the shadows, and a fantastic opening scene with the rain pouring in Gotham. And you're seeing criminals, petty criminals committing crimes, and they're scared of the shadows. They don't know what's in the shadows. They're scared of the Batman as a sort of as a myth type of a thing. Is he there? Isn't he? Right? Because they don't know, and they don't know what he is. And then later on in the film, you see him parading around with the police, walking into a bar in his Batman costume, beating people up, and you're wondering why, and I'm wondering, well, hold on a minute, why are people scared of him if loads of people are just seeing him as a man in a silly costume? It's like I said, it took away the fantastical element of Batman and tried to make it too real world, and for me it didn't work. So they're my two anyway. So Kermit's Ghost. I live about 15 minutes from Lewes in Sussex, and they closed the entire town off for Guy Fawkes night. It's a huge deal for some reason, with massive displays and events all day. Okay, I personally think I don't like fireworks. I don't like what they do to animals. They I don't like. I've seen dogs in fear because of them. That night, I used to have a dog that would be so scared, and it's horrendous. And I'd be sat up with the dog all night while fireworks are going off. I don't like that. Bonfire displays. Hedgehogs go. It's the time of year where animals are hibernating. The hedgehogs go running into them, thinking it's a hibernation place. Then they're set alight.
Mm-hmm.
I hate firework night.
They're actually illegal over here in Ireland. But people do end up going up north because it's legal up there. Buy them and bring them back down here.
Well, fireworks are illegal? Completely illegal.
100% illegal. You can't buy them anywhere except up north or across the pond.
I like that. I like that. That it's illegal. I hate fireworks. I don't. Okay, a controlled firework display, fair enough. Right?
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, just
Mm.
controlled firework displays. People who can just round here where my dad lives. There's the other day there's people driving around in a car just throwing fireworks out of the car window.
Yeah, I mean, growing up here as well, like at one point they used to like stick the fireworks in the letterbox and set it alight. And one of them, one time when me and my mum were walking over to a friend of ours, she nearly had a firework go off in her face.
Yeah, it's
very, very dangerous, isn't it?
It is. It's yeah. It needs to just go banned for purchase. Just do controlled
Yeah.
event.
Yeah.
Um,
I'd agree with that.
So what about over in Australia, Dan? Do they sell fireworks? Like, can you buy your own ones for New Year's and all that, or is it just controlled displays?
Well, New Year's, when that comes around, they're all like controlled events.
Yeah.
Obviously, every year they have that big firework display in Sydney on the Harbour Bridge.
Yeah.
But to purchase, no, they're illegal here, except one state that sells them for some reason. So Canberra sells them. So a lot of people go down there and buy them, and then just like come back up, to New South Wales or whatever. But they're illegal, but people still get a hold of them, and they go off like every year, like New Year's Eve. Like people will be like just launching them in the sky at like an oval or a reserve or something. But usually most of the time it's just those controlled firework displays.
So is it?
So
is it illegal? So people going over to buy them. So is it illegal to set them off in your state, or is it just illegal to purchase them?
I think it's both.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because I think there was too many people that would let them off. Like they have fireworks, but then they get, I don't know what they're called. I forget the name of them, but they're like firecrackers, and they're ones that just make a loud noise or whatever.
Bangers. Yeah, we call them bangers.
Yeah, bangers. Yeah, bangers. That's it.
Yeah.
Too many people were blowing their fingers off, I think. So, so I think they sort of banned them because of that, like originally. But yeah.
I just remembered as well, the bonfires, they're banned here in Ireland as well. But yeah, I can look across the road from me on Halloween, and there'll be a smallish bonfire, because across the road from me actually is a playground, a skateboard park, and a football pitch.
Yes, I think they should be banned and just controlled, I'll be honest. Maybe I'm just getting old and moany, who knows. So that Home Alone movie, anyone got a good name for it?
Nope.
Come on, it's an aged thingamajig. Macaulay Culkin kicking around in I don't know, an old people's home maybe.
It's not that old.
Well, then in the latest one, it got revealed that he's like the owner of this big security tech firm now.
Buzz
is like a policeman or something.
Is that the one that came on Disney a year ago or 2 years ago or something?
Yeah, last year. Yeah, it was. I don't know if it's technically canon, but Buzz does show up as like a cameo, the original actor, and it is mentioned that he's like the little brother is like the owner of this big security tech firm now, and he pranks call him every year around Christmas, saying that he's been left home alone.
Yeah, I've not seen beyond Home Alone 2. That's all I've seen.
I have seen 3 when I was a kid. Never again.
Yeah. Anyone else seen the others? Straight to video ones or the Disney one?
I haven't seen the first one.
No.
Okay, second one's pretty good.
I love the second one.
Second one's not bad. It's worth
It
watching.
was my favorite Christmas movie until I seen Jim Carrey's The Christmas Carol.
I'll still watch
the
that.
animated one.
Yep, it was actually the first Christmas review that I'd done
Very good,
last
that.
year.
Yeah.
And fun fact about that is a lot of that was the actors doing mocap actually acting in it, and there's like footage of that out, and it's very interesting to see.
Very good
Okay.
in 3D that as well. The
Yeah.
Christmas Carol. Yeah.
I'm going to be watching. I think that'll form part of my Christmas watch this year because I've not seen it. And I will always throw a version of Christmas Carol in, whatever one it may be. And I think that's one
Very
that
good.
I've got. So I'll do that.
Robert Zemeckis, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
So Stephen's not a Goonies fan either. Never was. Joe Grant. Hi, Joe. So here's one for everyone. So who wants to go first? Danny, have you got a favourite steelbook cover or Blu-ray covers? Have you got something that's your favourite that you look at and think, yeah, I really like the art on that? Steelbook or
that's a tough
Blu-ray?
one. Yeah.
Sorry?
I've got so many steelbooks, it's quite a tough one to answer.
It is.
It is.
Now, this might surprise you, but Ferris Bueller I have in steelbook.
Okay, cool.
So
It's a good film.
it's not much to it, but it's one of my favourite steelbooks at the moment. But I bought so many recently, so I might have to change that. The Wanted one with a bullet on it is my second favourite.
Yes, that's quite a hard one to get a hold of. That
Yeah.
that steelbook.
Yeah.
That's a nice. That's quite expensive.
And I do enjoy collecting lenticulars as well.
Yeah.
So even if I don't like the movie, I just pick it up for lenticular.
Okay.
If it's decent price, so I picked a couple up yesterday as well. But I won't say what they are now. So yeah.
No, that'll be for an opening or a thingy video. So anyone else got? I think Michael was jumping off camera to grab and show this.
I was actually turning on the light, but no, I was looking at my bookcase because I don't really have that many steel books. I think I have 3. I have
or Blu-ray covers. You got one that you particularly like?
Blu-ray cover.
You know, one where
it's so hard to tell because they're all jumbled together. But the one I did pick out was like the old Steelbook limited edition ones that I have for 10,000 BC, which I think you stepped on recently as well, AJ.
Yeah, I crushed it.
But actually, inside this is I don't have the regular DVD. I traded that in because I actually upgraded it to Blu-ray, and I didn't think I'd get the Steelbook. So this is actually the Blu-ray Steelbook for it. But what I do love about this is the fact that it came with a little movie cell.
That's right, yeah.
For it. So that was the only one I could grab on hand except for this Rambo one that I got for $150.
Okay, cool. What about you, Dan? Anything that stands out in your collection as a favorite?
Favorite cover art. That's kind of hard. I mean, I don't really have many steelbooks myself either. So, I guess the Batman, the Batman one. You know, the recent Batman film. Probably, I really like that steelbook.
What was your steelbook art for that you had over there? So many. There were quite a few steelbooks for that.
I'll get it out.
He's going off camera.
So we got this one here.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
because there's about 4 different covers or something, steelbooks, weren't there, for it?
I know. I'm pretty sure the US just got released another release like just this week of a new cover art steelbook for this film.
It's a cool image. Matt, what about yourself? Anything that stands out for you?
Where do I start? I've got quite a good few nice editions, but one that, and if you have a look at the latest video I put up, is this Alien edition, Film Arena. Really heavily embossed. It's one of the most embossed covers I've ever seen. on the
Yeah.
release.
Show it sideways. Can you get the image? Can you get the embossing? Do you know what I mean? When you you showed it on your video.
Yeah, I think you need
Get it
to
on
really
there.
see the video, to be honest, to see it.
Yeah,
But it is heavily embossed.
that's
But
nice.
the other one that,
Yeah, that's a really nice release.
the other one I'll show you, and it's a sneak peek of next week. Prometheus.
Mm.
There's a double lenticular. So there's that side, and then there's that side.
Matt loves his lenticulars.
Yeah. So look out for that next week. I'll go into a bit more
What is
detail.
that? Film Arena as well.
That's the Film Arena as well. That one's very limited. That's 400 copies, that one.
AJ's like, I'm going to go on eBay later to try and find that.
Seriously.
No chance. That
it's
Alien
very-
one is like about 200 quid.
Yeah, but I didn't pay that. And I didn't. It's not a complete set, so the steelbook wasn't in the set.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I don't pay those silly prices. But I was just very, very lucky with these releases. A lot of my editions that you'll see, you'll think, blimey, these are really expensive. But I've set up notifications on eBay so that as soon as these things come available, and I'll always do deals with people. I'll always message them and I'll say, right, you know, obviously this is incomplete. What's your best offer? This kind of thing. So I don't pay silly prices, but I've just been extremely lucky with those.
No, that's a nice addition. I wouldn't go after the Prometheus one. I struggled with that film on my last watch.
Really?
The Alien one, yeah, Prometheus I struggled with.
I like that. I do like that film.
But Alien, yes, classic. There we go. So for me, it's a hard one, isn't it? It's a hard one. It can change daily. I think one that stands out for me is my Mars Attacks one, which is fully green.
Yep.
With all the heads. Yeah, I don't. It's a really difficult question. Blu-ray covers. One I always have on show is the is barbed wire. Pamela, only because of the image of her where she's. Do you know what I mean? That one's always sort of showing for some sort of obscure reason. I don't know why. I don't know what I like about that one, but anyway. So this bit of news I've not heard, and I'll take it with a pinch of salt.
I hope not.
No.
Like you, Adrian, I'm taking it with a pinch of salt. I'm taking it with the biggest pinch of salt. It's one of these movies I agree when people say it should not be remade.
No, and it's yeah. I always think previously, am I right in thinking that Robert Zemeckis always said that while he's alive, there won't be another one made.
You are correct. He has said that on multiple occasions.
But I've not heard that news.
There is a musical, isn't there? There's a
There is Back to
musical
the Future
currently.
It was a musical, yeah.
James from Jim Jam Movies and TV. Hi, James. How you doing, mate?
Okay.
Is there a TV show you would revive? Anyone?
Ooh.
Yes.
Cool.
My Name is Earl. I want to see the conclusion to My Name is Earl.
Okay, all right. Okay, fair enough. They did. There was another show.
Raising Hope, I believe.
Yeah, is that the one where there's the TV scene that says that Geezer completes his list or something like that?
Yeah, that was a kind of unofficial way of how the show was going to end. But after a few years, the creator of the show said that how it was going to end was Earl was never going to complete his list. Because in the last episode, how it was going to be was someone was going to come up to him and say, hey, Earl, I've fucked you over in the past. I have this list. I want to try and make it right. And from that, he realizes he's already done enough good. There's no point in trying to complete this list. And goes off and has a happy life.
Fair enough. Okay. Dan? Any TV show you'd like to see?
No. Wouldn't have a clue, to be honest. It's kind of hard. Kind of a hard question.
Matt?
Or do you like remade or like
Well-
revived for another season?
Well, James says, I don't know. I suppose you could have a revival of the remake. I suppose, sort of either way, whatever way you want to interpret. the
No,
question.
I don't know. Maybe they could redo the last season of the American version of Shameless. I think because that was kind of pretty disappointing.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Matt?
I quite like to see either a remake of Blue Thunder or
Yeah.
Airwolf,
Okay.
a new helicopter, series.
Yeah. All right, cool. Danny, anything?
Yeah, it's kind of a show that came out about 10 years ago. It's called Lost.
Yeah, I lost.
And I found after watching all 6 seasons, season 6 was terrible and the ending was really disappointing.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind them remaking season 6 to make it slightly better, but you might as well watch season 6 instead of season 1 because it's very samey. So, but other than that, the first couple of seasons were very good. So, yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I would go personally for me. I would say Stargate Universe, the third Stargate series set on board the ship that they done that only lasted 2 seasons and never got a conclusion. There's a lot of shows.
I've only ever seen SG-1. I've seen
Yeah.
a handful of episodes of SG-1. I did love SG-1 though.
You didn't.
Oh no, I loved it. Yeah, I loved it.
Good.
We need a 4K of the film. That's what we need.
Yes.
I'm
so
surprised no one's mentioned Firefly.
Yeah, I think it was unfortunate what happened with Firefly completely, but they did give it I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily jump to a remake of it or a continuation now. It's those ones that ended. It didn't get its time, Firefly. It didn't. But for me, it's the ones that ended on a cliffhanger that I go to and think, oh, if only you finished that off. There we go. So, favourite 80s star that no longer makes movies. I mean, I think that might be a bit. I don't know. I'm going to go out on the limb here and say that some people in this chat ain't even from the 80s. So that's like asking me favourite 60s star who don't make movies anymore in the 80s, and I'll be like, I don't know. Matt, go on. Anyone?
I don't even know.
Matt?
Me.
When did Karate Kid Part 3 come out? Was that 80s or 90s?
I'd say that was the 80s, probably.
Yeah,
Late
late 80s.
Yeah, then I'm probably going to say the actor who plays Terry Silver before he had come back to Cobra Kai, because I think after Karate Kid Part 3, he only done directing roles.
Okay, all right. Okay. Matt, what about yourself? Because you're from that era, same as me.
Michael J. Fox.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Unfortunate for him that he can't. Favourite star? I don't know. I'm lost with that one. Anyone else got anything they want to?
Tough question.
Sorry.
Tough question.
It is. I'm trying to think in the 80s who don't make anything anymore. But I can't think of anyone. There we go. Anyone else? Danny?
What
Anyone from
about
that era?
Richard Pryor? Richard Pryor?
Yeah,
Richard Pryor's a good one.
sadly passed away.
Yeah.
Gene Wilder.
Yeah,
There's a
they were
lot.
70s as well.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, there's talk that Warner Brothers might do more Harry Potter films because they're not interested in Fantastic Beasts anymore.
Which is a shame, because as bad as some of the movies are, I still enjoyed it and wanted to see how it was going to conclude. I know I follow Disgusting Films. That's where I get my movie news. If it hasn't come from them, I don't believe it. But they did say something about this. So their question was, would you rather it be movies or a TV series? A lot of people actually said TV series.
Okay. Me personally, I've only seen one Harry Potter and I saw one Fantastic Beasts. So
I've seen them all, sadly.
I don't care if they put them out to pasture and die, to be honest. They're not my sort of film.
No, same here. I watched the first one, but just not my cup of tea.
What about yourselves, Dan and Danny?
Um,
Any thoughts on Harry Potter's?
I can't actually stay awake watching them.
Oh, fair enough.
So yeah, I get to the first hour and I just fall asleep halfway through. So I do own them on Blu-ray, but yeah, it's just not my sort of thing, really.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What about you, Dan? You a Harry Potter fan?
I mean, yeah, I love it, Harry Potter. I've always loved the movies, to be honest. Never really gotten into the Fantastic Beasts movies. Maybe the first one. I watched the first one. Haven't seen the other two as of yet. But I don't know. I think they should just leave it alone, to be honest. I think they've done enough with it. I'm not sure what else they could do. I know there was talk about, I think at some stage, then it would like sort of go into spoiler territory. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it. No, but I like the movies. I think they're really good. I really like Daniel Radcliffe. I guess I grew up with sort of him playing that role. And also like, I used to like, when I was younger, I used to get the Harry Potter, like Lego sets and like the full Harry Potter, like castle, like, the Lego set. And I used to, build that and stuff with family and things like that. So that was always like a memorable thing.
Those original Lego sets are fairly expensive now, especially box complete and factory sealed. Looking at least a couple of hundred or a couple of grand. I can't remember which.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jim Jan says, when am I next having peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Never. One's enough. Thoughts on Avatar 2 trailer? I forgettable. That's my answer. I can't tell you anything that happened in it. Anyone else liked and watched it?
I hated the first one. Absolutely despised that. I stopped halfway through the film. I think it should have just been a one and done thing. Not a biggest fan of James Cameron as is. Like, I liked Titanic. That's as far as I'd go. I don't give two shits about 4, 5, and 6 of whatever, how many he's doing. Couldn't give two shits.
Okay, so what about, you're saying you're not a fan of, you've seen Aliens?
No.
Have you seen The Abyss?
No.
All right. Terminator 2?
No.
Watch them, you might be a fan of him then.
Yeah.
Or the former James Cameron. Seriously, don't look at Avatar as a it's not one of his best films.
No.
Anyone else got any thoughts on the Avatar trailer?
Yeah. So I watched the trailer on Avatar 2 and I think the 3D would be pretty amazing, but upon the story, I think it's just too late to release. And when the first movie came out, I think I watched it like 60 times. And now watching it years later, it's kind of not as good, but the 3D still kind of blows you away, as in it makes the film slightly better. But other than that, I don't think Avatar has that much going for it as a James Cameron film. So, yeah.
Dan, yourself?
Well, I haven't seen the trailer, but I feel like I'll just go into it kind of blind. Yeah, but I'll definitely be going seeing that one in the cinemas when it comes out. I mean, I enjoyed the first one. I watched it recently. I feel like it does feel a little bit dated.
Mhm.
you know, to today's standards. But I'm looking forward to this second one. Yeah, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a good film. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Matt, yourself, Avatar 2.
Yeah, I was a little underwhelmed with the trailer, to be honest. It just seems more of the same with what we've already seen. And, you know, I mean, I've got the first film and I was blown away with the 3D on it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I'm interested to see what this motion capture underwater 3D is going to be like, because that's quite incredibly hard to do. And I think that's what's taken the time, the technology, you know, the investment and all that in it. So I'm interested to see that. I mean, I'll only be watching it in 3D at the cinema. But yeah, I have to agree sort of what Danny's saying. Is it a little bit too late? You know, you're coming back to characters that we've seen like 10 or 12 years ago or whatever it was. And they're talking about 2 or 3 more sequels after this. And I'm just thinking, how much more of a story is there to tell? I don't know. So yeah, so kind of, yeah, I mean, definitely going to watch it at the cinema in 3D because that's more interesting to me than anything.
Yeah.
But as far as the story, well, you don't really know what the story is. It's just kind of just showing, obviously, the family, you know, the children now, and but yeah, what new is it going to bring to the story? I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's right. Jim Jam gives us another question now, and it's very specific, and I've got a feeling as to why. Worst film of 1982. Now I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, is that the year that the Neverending Story came out? Because Neverending Story is James's favourite film. I know.
Worst film.
I'm going to search up a list now.
And I can't. That's so specific, James, that I can't think of anything that came out in 1982. The thing came out in 1982, I know. But I'm just reading between the lines here. Oh, no, Neverending Story was 1984. Okay, so I was off par with that one. But I thought that's where he was going with it. I can't think of anything from 1982.
I'm just.
It's like a very random date.
I mean, I'm looking at it. There's so many good films that I don't think I could pick out any, at least from the ones that I've seen.
Okay, so Film Fanatic. Well, we'll move on from that one. I think that's a really awkward question.
Tough question. Tough question.
It is. I'm going. Oh, so Film Fanatic and his Home Alone sequel film with the age-old Kevin McAllister. It's going to be the same robbers, the same robbers as the original. Kevin's grown up and then he goes on holiday and left one of his children behind. And then he comes back and both of them are going to prank the robbers with traps. I'd like to hope that Kevin McAllister has learned from the mistakes of the past and wouldn't leave one of his children behind, that he would know better than that. Warner Bros. Still has the rights to Lord of the Rings. Do you think they will make more films? Because Warner Brothers just announced it. Announced what? What has Warner Brothers just announced?
Judging by the structure of the comment, probably more Lord of the Rings films, which is odd because they're only just after wrapping up season 1 of the new TV series, haven't they?
Yeah, and that's meant to be 5 seasons, isn't it? I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's been told. The story's been told.
I mean, I still have yet to see an actual Lord of the Rings film from beginning to end.
Oh.
Well, really? Blimey.
Yeah, and I own them on
Need to get watching these films.
That's what the new series in the new year is going to be. You know, I give away at my backlog.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't think they should make any more. The TV series isn't very good. I didn't get past episode 1, and there's so many you know, you had Frodo there. You didn't have Frodo. You had this girl that was Frodo, and she had a little overweight mate. And these are little people, and that was blimmin' Samwise. There was like a little female Samwise that hung around with this little Frodo. It was like a copy and paste of the original is what I was looking at. I couldn't get into it. That was one episode. Kermit agrees, fireworks, unnecessary and dangerous. Oh, what's your favourite film of the year so far, people?
Is that going to include films that come out this year or films that we've seen for the first time this year?
Well, take it how you want.
If we're going by films we've seen for the first time this year, Jaws would be my #1 pick. If we're going films that have come out this year, I haven't seen a lot, but I would probably say that new All Quiet on the Western Front film.
Yeah, I agree.
Those would be my 2 picks.
I agree with All Quiet on the Western Front. That's exactly what I would have gone with. Let's go round. Danny, have you seen anything new? What's your favourite film of the year thus far?
Probably not really seen a film from the cinema this year. So I can't really say my part on that bit, but yeah. I am going to have to shoot off though now, AJ. So
okay,
yeah,
mate.
Thanks
Well,
No,
thanks for coming in, Dan. Come in again sometime.
Yeah, nice.
Pleasure.
Nice to see you, Danny.
Yeah, it was nice
Thanks
to see
for
you,
having
Danny.
me, AJ.
Yeah, go and subscribe to This Is My Life channel. I will leave a link in the descriptions and that afterwards. Go and visit Danny's channel. All right, Dan, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I'll be in
Yeah.
chat. Thank you. Bye.
Take care, mate. Be good.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you, Danny.
Okay, so where were we at? Dan, then. Favourite film?
All Quiet on the Western Front, for sure. That film was just amazing. I'm still thinking about it, to be honest. Like after I've watched it.
Yeah, I'm probably going to give it another rewatch because I watched it, as AJ suggested, in the original German with subtitles. But I haven't watched anything foreign language in subtitles since Dragon Ball Super ended in 2018. So I wasn't as used to it as I once was. So I definitely do need to give it another go because I think I gave it a 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So I'll definitely be giving it another go when I'm not as tired as I was the first time.
Yeah, it was so good. Such a good film. I think it was just amazing. But also, what else have I watched this year? I know I like The Black Phone. That was really good. And Top Gun Maverick, I think, or that'd, I guess, be my top 3 at the moment, I suppose.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Matt?
Maverick. #1 film. Absolutely loved it. Loved going to the cinema. Fantastic experience. Got the Steelbook this week. Put a few scenes on earlier in the week, and wow, blown away with this 4K. The best picture and sound quality that I've seen on a release ever. And after this stream's finished, I should be putting it on, watching it. But I have to say, I did watch All Quiet on the Western Front, and powerful film, that one. I did watch it in the German language. Very, very good. Yeah, I think it's a film that everyone should see once. I wouldn't revisit it anytime soon myself. I find war films, yeah, they're tough to get through because it's such a difficult subject matter. But I do think everyone should see this. It's a bit like Schindler's List.
I actually watched that for the
It's a very
first time.
dark subject. What's that?
I watched Schindler's List for the first time recently as well.
Yeah, so it's a tough watch.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult subject matter. But I think it should be seen by everybody. And yeah, certainly a fantastic film. I wouldn't say it's my top film. For me, that's Maverick. I just think that was just so good, so good. But yeah, definitely probably put that second. And I did like Elvis. I did think that was really good. The first half, I nearly switched off. I found it so chaotic. But looking back on it, I can see why it was done that way, because they were trying to show what Elvis's life was like. And yeah, for me, it was just like so wonderful that they showed what that colonel, what, you know, so tragic what happened to Elvis. I didn't realize that had happened to him. And I thought the young guy that played him was fantastic. And I know for some people, they probably didn't like that film. But I did think it was a really, so again,
I still have yet to watch it.
Good. It's a good watch.
It's
I mean,
a good film.
You know, Tom Hanks, well, you know, he's a fantastic actor. Wherever he puts his hand to, he's great. But yeah, so that, yeah, I'd say they're my three films of the year.
Yeah, and I just remembered another fantastic film that I seen for the very first time this year was another World War film. It was The Pianist. And by the first half hour, I was in near tears. And by the end of it, I was just speechless. It was a fantastic movie. I'm happy to have it in my collection. So I'd say that would be my third pick. So it would go Jaws, All Quiet on the Western Front, and then The Pianist.
Well, I can't argue with you saying Jaws as well. Yeah, one of my favourite films of all time.
Oh, fantastic.
So, Film Fanatic, his title would be Home Alone Again. I think that there's another title there somewhere that could work better, but I don't know what it is. Man Cave Movies, good afternoon, gents. I hope you're all well. What's your thoughts on Henry Cavill leaving The Witcher? It's great news for us Superman fans.
I think there's going to be a lot of controversy around that because Henry is such a big Witcher fan. Like, he literally was making sure all of that it was true to the games, how they were. So for him to have left something like that, there must have been some serious issues behind the scenes that we don't know about for him to leave that role.
I don't know nothing about him leave. Well, no, sorry. Okay. Sorry. I do know that he's leaving it. And I know that they've been replaced by one of the lesser Hemsworths.
The one from the Hunger Games,
yeah. But I've never watched The Witcher, so
I haven't either. I just know Henry's he's a massive video game fan as well as Warhammer 40k fan. So he knows a lot of this stuff. And for him to have stepped out of this role that he's loved so much has me thinking there might be some behind the scenes issues there. Either that, or he just can't do it contractually because he might be committed to do a surprise Superman film that we know nothing about yet.
Maybe. What about yourself, Dan? Do you watch? Have you seen The Witcher?
Yeah, I've seen all the seasons up to date. I'm disappointed, to be honest. Like, it's kind of, it's a bit annoying because he was built for that role, I think. Like, yeah, I mean, I do agree with Michael that I feel like he probably is stepping down because I think there might be another role there that he's going to be more committed to do. So probably another Superman thing. I really do think that'll be the case. But I won't be returning back to that show because he's gone. Like, it just won't be the same. Like, it's that show is ruined now. It's ruined.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to lose a hell of a lot of fans because a lot of the fans watched it not only because they might have had an interest in it, but mainly for Henry Cavill. That was their main reason for watching it. Without him and the news of him leaving after season 3, it was a bad mistake. They're going to lose a hell of a lot of fans. I would be surprised if it gets a 5th season. I'd be very surprised.
I take it Matt, which is something you haven't delved into?
No, but I'm so pleased that he's coming back to do Superman because he's the only guy for the role, in my opinion. I think he's a fantastic Superman. He's built for the part. He looks the part. Another thing I found out recently, if he hadn't been Superman, he could have been Bond. And did you know that he was runner-up to Daniel Craig? He was the second choice. Yeah, he was the second choice.
Yeah, I have heard this, I think he's also in the running to be in Harry Potter as well as someone. I don't know who, but that's the rumor that I've heard, that he was in the running to be Bond and in a Harry Potter film.
I think if he... Yeah,
go on. Sorry, Matt. Go on.
I'm going to say, if he wasn't coming back to Superman, then... I don't know. He possibly could have been Bond, but having been Superman, I don't think they would have him as Bond now.
No, they would.
But certainly now he's back with Superman. I think that's kind of done and dusted. But yeah, I'm just so pleased that he's coming back to the role because I don't think there's any other actor out there that theatrically that could play Superman because I just think he's perfect. I really do.
I agree. Like I still have yet to see Man of Steel because I actually bought that on Blu-ray recently. But from the clips that I have seen of him as Superman, that was the main reason why I decided to actually go out and buy the Blu-ray, was so I can actually sit down and see the full performance from beginning to end.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll bother with Batman versus Superman or Justice League, but that's yet to be seen.
Well, I think you should.
Snyder Cut, definitely.
Yeah. Not the Joss Whedon Justice League.
No.
Never the Joss Whedon cut. Never ever. Will I bother with it?
For me, Witcher is a program that hasn't interested me at all.
I think if you're like a big fan of the Lord of the Rings, you might enjoy it. I'd say watch the first episode to get a feel for it. Like I still have yet to watch it, but I'd say you might actually find yourself enjoying it if you get the show.
I think it's too far.
You played the games as well.
And also, if it's based on a game, then it's I don't know. I don't like the look of Henry Cavill in it. I don't like the white hair look. I may well have tried part of the first episode and switched it off. I cannot remember. So for me, I can understand your dismay, fans' dismay of losing the lead actor. I'd probably feel the same if I was a fan of it, but it is great that he's going back into Superman. He won't be Bond now. That time's passed for him because he's too big an actor now, too big a face linked to a big character, like what Matt says. The Broccolis have never, James Bond makers have never cast a big name as James Bond. It's always been someone relatively small. Someone who may be known, but, and a name is known, but not someone who's headlined a massive franchise outside of TV, like with The Saint, with what's his face, Roger Moore, and Remington Steele with yes. Do you know what I mean? So they wouldn't.
I don't even know what they're going to do next with 007 after how it ended in No Time to Die. Like, I think it was left ambiguous whether or not he died or lived.
No, he died.
Yeah. So are they going to continue on in the Daniel Craig universe, or are they just going to start from scratch again?
Yeah, it'd be a reset. You might, I don't know whether they could maybe still use some of the actors, because they did it with Judi Dench, obviously with M. She was Pierce Brosnan's M, and then obviously she remained. So they could possibly do it, but it will be a reset. It will just be another Bond, story. Whether they go back to just individual stories or whether they do another arc, I'm hoping they go back to individual stories, because I think we're getting to the point now. We've had this period of, and they've done it with TV series, Star Trek, the overall arc stuff. I think we're done with that now. We need to get back to individual films.
Here's the question.
My opinion.
Yeah, here's a question actually about 007. Would you prefer it to continue on as movies, or would you rather see it become a TV series
Oh no,
for like say 4 or 5 episodes for a 4 or 5
No.
episode run?
No, it's got to stay as films.
yeah, it's got
No.
space film.
But
Start getting into that territory, then
yeah.
you're just gonna water it down.
So by the gods of science fiction. Hello. Hi, I picked up the Universal Monsters
Back in
on
a sec.
Steelbook. A great collection, and the art by Alex Ross is cool.
I
Yes.
have seen this. I think that's the new 4K.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
No, they were actually Blu-ray versions that came out
Okay.
prior. The 4Ks, the newer 4Ks didn't have the Alex Ross art. Alex Ross is actually a I know him as a comic book artist. I think the first time I came across his work was when he'd done a comic called Marvels for Marvel, and he uses models dressed up, and he paints them. He paints from them posing to get his images and that. And he's a fantastic artist. And the steelbooks are very good. I think the only one I haven't got is the Frankenstein one. I've got that in 4K.
Yeah,
Steelbook,
I have been.
a steelbook.
Yeah, I have been wanting to actually delve into the classic monster era films, but don't think I've seen any of them. So that's why once I saw this set, because a few TikTokers that I follow, movie TikTokers, they were sent it for free, and it does look like a very good looking set.
It is a nice looking set. Whether you'd get into the films, I don't know. But he also picked up the Goonies and Silent Running on Steelbook. You cancelled your Silent Running, didn't you, Matt?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure about that. Whether I can remember it from back in the day, but I don't know. I might wait just to pick it up second hand. Don't necessarily need it. There's so much coming out at the moment. I just think, no need for that one at the moment.
I did. I think I watched Silent Running about a year ago. I last watched it. It's a good film. It didn't have the emotional wallop that it did when I was a little kid. But there we go.
It's the same with me.
with the little robots dying.
Yeah, I think I got quite upset when I was quite young watching that. But
but there we go. So here's a question: who's seen Highlander?
Yep.
I've seen the TV series, if that counts.
Oh no, that'll count.
Yeah, it's good.
So Gareth says, should there have only been one Highlander film, no sequels or TV spin-offs? Obviously, this plays into there can be only one. That was heading for, I
still have yet to watch the first Highlander film, but I have seen a good handful of episodes of the TV series, and I honestly do love the TV series. So I'm going to say, I would have gladly taken that TV series after the first Highlander. Whether or not the movie sequels are any good, that's up to you guys to tell me.
Anyone else? Dan, have you seen Highlander?
No, I haven't seen any.
Matt, what about yourself? I know you've seen Highlander. What?
I mean, I've been a long while since I've seen Highlander 2, but I can remember it kind of going off on a bit of a. Wasn't there? It went off world and stuff. They kind of brought in a whole race of people, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, they iced.
It all got a bit carried away, but I did enjoy the TV series. I thought it was very good. It was nice to see Adrian Paul. I thought was very, very good in the role. Obviously, in the pilot, we did have
Christopher
Lambert. I did enjoy the TV series. I don't think I ever saw any of these spin-off TV movies that he was in, though.
Yeah. No, they were straight to video. They were straight to video films as opposed to TV movies. For me, Highlander is a franchise that I love. I would say I've got no issue with. I mean, Highlander's a great film. Obviously, that in comparison, the sequels are dross. They really are. That being said, the second one intrigues me in that there's such a rich history to the film itself. But I'm intrigued by the film's history and the changes that they've made to it. The fact they went back and filmed scenes later on for it. They've tried to alter the story in other cuts of it to take out the alien race stuff to try and make it work better. I think it intrigues me in that sense. The TV series, I think the first season is pretty weak. But once Highlander came back with season 2, it just hit the ground running, and it took this world and it just expanded it so much. And Adrian Paul was very likable as Duncan MacLeod, and so I would say yes, I would take. I'm happy with the TV, the primary TV series. There was a spin-off TV series as well called The Raven, and there was cartoon animated film. But Highlander Endgame, which is the fourth film, had Adrian Paul and Christopher Lambert in it, and it kind of tied back into the first Highlander film as well as tying up the TV series as well. So I would say yes.
That's right. I would say Adrian Paul would have made a good Bond as well.
Yeah.
And the TV theme tune for the Highlander TV show definitely slapped. I think it was Queen that done it.
It was, yeah. It was a song that was used in the
fantastic soundtrack.
It's such a fantastic intro for a show. It's definitely up there in, I'd say, the top 10 greatest TV openings. Obviously, Deep Space Nine for me would take that top spot.
My one bugbear with that set that you showed this morning, get rid of those badges. Let's have the soundtrack. Should have had the soundtrack. Well, there we go.
How often do these releases actually do include soundtracks? Because I don't obviously collect.
Flash Gordon got it.
It did.
And that's Queen.
Yeah.
That was a missed opportunity, it really was.
Yeah, I noticed a lot with these special editions. They've really stopped including soundtracks. It's not just with movies or anything. It's definitely, I've noticed a hell of a lot with video games as well. They subject the soundtrack for art books, which is all right, but I prefer to have the soundtrack.
I guess it costs a lot of money with rights. That's the only thing I can think of.
As well, especially if they do it separately, where if you want the soundtrack, you have to go and physically buy it separately. I'd rather just have it all in the one bundle.
Yeah. So anyway, Film Fanatic goes on to say, what's your favourite cinema company? Let's go with Australia first here. Do you have a favourite cinema company? What cinema companies do you have over there? How's it work for you?
We've got, we used to have a lot of independent, places that are just gone now.
Yeah.
Those ones are really good. You pay maybe $10 for a ticket, to see a new release. But we've got our main ones are Event Cinemas. So they do all the big screenings. They do the luxury ones as well, with the food service and the alcohol service to theater experiences. So yeah, we've got Event Cinemas, and then we've got another cinema branch called Hoyts. But yeah, that's it. That's all we've got in terms of cinemas. And then just a bunch of maybe sort of almost retro style independent ones, art ones. I don't know, what do you call those? They're art ones.
Art house sort of thing.
Yeah, they got a name for them, but yeah, we've got a few of those. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay, what about in Ireland? What do you have over there?
Where I live, we used to have an independent cinema called Diamond Cinema. but then that went to shit because they weren't like doing well with upkeeping the auditoriums and what have you. Like it was the same auditorium from back in the 90s, early 2000s. So they got bought out by a big chain cinema called Arc Cinema, which I have been in there a good few times, and the top notch. Ticket prices are about €9.95 to like €13. It would depend on the movie. I think there are some places in Ireland have like their own like independent movie theaters. Like I know Ashburn does, and then up in Dublin, and they have two separate ones. There's Arc, as I mentioned, and then I think the Omniplex has their own cinema as well. But I'd have to go as far as Blanchardstown to go to that one.
Okay. So what about you, Matt? Are you a View man or a Cineworld man?
Well, I mean, to be honest, the only current cinema chain we have around where I live is Showcase, which they are quite expensive, to be honest. I have been to View in other cities, and I think they're probably one of the best value, aren't they? Because isn't it $4.99 or $5.99 for a film?
I think they do $5.99 deals on certain days, and that I know they used to.
Yeah. I know we are getting. I think we're getting an Odeon IMAX that's coming next Easter, but I'm guessing that's going to be quite expensive as well. But at least it'll bring a bit of competition, because when you've only got one chain, they can command what they want. Whereas if you've got a bit of competition, they might start doing deals and this kind of thing. But so yeah, it's just Showcase around this way.
Well, for me, I'm just a View man, and that's just simply down to geography and what's closest.
Yeah.
Dark. Like it's literally a 2-minute bus ride or a 20-minute walk, and I'm there.
Cool. So Ian's asked, which recording artist did you enjoy in a film? Mine would be David Bowie in The Man Who Fell to Earth. Has anyone got any thoughts on recording in movies?
I do. It's probably one. It's one I have reviewed. It's the Agnes Brown film that had Tommy Lee Jones in it, and initially how Brandon O'Carroll had the books was actually a younger Tommy Lee Jones, but in this he didn't want to be aged down, so he looked as he did during the time of filming. But if you're aware of the Mrs. Brown's Boys TV series, that's what Agnes Brown is. It's the original works, not the bastardization comedy version of it.
All right. I'm sorry. I completely switched off there.
It's all right.
Now I had stuff going on. Anyone else? Recording artist?
Dan?
Matt? Yeah, go on. Dan?
I don't know. I guess like the Dark Knight soundtrack, Hans Zimmer.
I think we got his. I think his question's wrong. I think we're reading his. You're reading his question wrong. Let's just go back and favorite recording artist.
So I think he means
okay.
A singer that starred in a film.
Singer.
In a starred in film.
Okay.
So should we go again?
Well,
Does
then
that change?
my answer still says the same, because Tommy Lee Jones does play a pivotal role in the Agnes Brown film. In the book, he obviously is the much younger version of Tommy Lee Jones at the time when the book came out, whereas when they made the film with Angelica Hudson,
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones. The what's the name of the song? Tommy Lee
Jones. Why am I thinking of the actor? Is there an actor?
Tom Jones.
Tom Jones.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Tom Jones. Okay.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones is the geezer who played Two-Face in Batman Forever.
That's where I'm getting mixed up.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
Tom
okay.
Jones.
Tom Jones. All right.
Yeah, Tom Jones. Yeah. Yeah, he played a
That's what threw
pivotal
me.
role in the Agnes Brown film, as well in the book, because it was a younger version of Tom Jones.
Okay,
Um,
I understand.
but he didn't want to be de-aged for the film.
Yes. All right, cool. So, Matt, Dan.
Right. The Jazz Singer, starring Neil Diamond. Fantastic film. Remember Neil Diamond?
Yeah,
Have you watched The Jazz Singer?
I haven't seen that. No.
That's a fantastic film. Back in the 70s, but yeah, the guy can write songs. He can plays the guitar. He's a singer and he's an actor as well. Fantastic.
Cool.
Highly recommend The Jazz Singer. Brilliant film.
Cool. So, what about you, Dan? Do you
I
have
don't know,
a?
to be honest,
Not
not really.
In a film.
I don't know, not one that comes to mind. I feel like I haven't really watched too many movies with recording artists in them, to be honest.
How about A Star Is Born? Have you seen the new one?
No, I haven't.
What
I
do you
did pick it up recently, but I haven't seen it yet.
All right. So can this be someone who was formerly a recording artist? Have you seen any of the Transformer films, Dan?
Yeah.
There you go. Marky Mark. Marky Mark Wahlberg.
I mean, if he had said TV, then I probably would have said Billy Piper.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's an answer. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. I mean, TV film. Kylie Minogue. She was in Doctor Who. Kylie Minogue in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg in The Happening. Beyonce in Austin Powers 3.
Yeah.
I forgot she was.
She's been in a few films actually. Beyonce. There's another one I watched not long ago. She was in it. She played quite a good part.
Vanilla Ice in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Secret of the Ooze.
I
don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't mind some of Mark Wahlberg's stuff if that counts. I thought Thingy was very good in A Star Is Born. What's the name?
Gaga, Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
That's it. And
She's
I
going to
am
be in the new
intrigued.
Joker as well, isn't she?
Yes,
Yes,
I'm intrigued,
she is.
I'm intrigued by that. Immense.
Musical.
Yes. No, I'm
Another
serious.
one,
I like the
another
idea.
one, that we forgot to mention. You know, anything Will Smith has been in.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
No, true. Completely forgot about Will Smith there. Actually.
Yes. Will Smith
Yeah,
in
you're
in-
right.
Here's a question: do you think he'll come back to acting, or do
He
you
has.
think what's
There
happened is
there is a movie he's starring in that is due to come out, from what I can
Really?
remember.
I just think
And
what
I
happened
think it
is-
was, I think it was filmed before the slap.
right.
Okay.
How well that's going to do?
Never going to live that down, is he?
Oh God, no.
Nah.
I still refer to it as the slappening.
I thought Chris Rock though handled it brilliantly. He was
Yeah, he
really
did.
professional about it, wasn't he?
Yeah,
The way
I mean,
that all
as
happened.
well, when Chris was there at one of Dave Chappelle's shows, when he got physically assaulted on stage, I remember Chris coming on and joking, saying, "Was that Will Smith?"
Yeah.
Aw.
Sorry, if you can hear that clicking, that's me. I'm trying to put up a thingy. There we go.
Yeah.
I was meant to have that up because this will end at 4. And there are a lot of comments.
Yeah.
Great, but I don't think I'm going to get through them all. So let me just rush. All right. By the gods, I'd like Blake 7 to be remade.
Yeah. That'd be a good idea.
Quick one. What are good superheroes or anti-heroes that would be a great movie but hasn't got made into one yet? You'd need some comic book background for that one, considering they're
Which I sadly don't have. And I think as well, actually, with this question, it could be its own live talk as is, because I'm sure there's so many.
Yeah.
could be
There
talked
are.
about.
You're probably best placed to answer that one, AJ. Really.
Silver
Yeah.
Sable. No, Silver Sable's too much like Black Widow. She's a Russian sort of, yeah, similar. Sleepwalker. Look it up. Definitely Jerry Anderson UFO TV series. Yeah, no, I did get that. I don't think I don't think that's
I don't
Michael
believe
J.
It better
Fox.
not be.
Unless after this live I go and see disgusting films on Instagram has mentioned it, then I'll believe it. But
Yeah.
until
They better
then,
not taint that series.
no.
I know
what-
Michael J. Fox has broken arms and that recently with his condition.
Yeah,
Mm.
like he's gotten progressively worse.
see that.
God bless him. But I don't see how it could be physically done. Like I know the Back to the Future Telltale games, they fans are kind of calling that as an unofficial Back to the Future 4, with how that game is set, like literally, I think it's like months after the third one, and he gets like a letter from the doc. I haven't played much of it or know much about it, but I
didn't
do
even know there was a Telltale one for
Oh,
Back
yeah.
to the Future. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
it's on Xbox 360, PS3, I think PS4 and Xbox One.
Okay.
I'll have to double check that one.
So by the gods of science fiction, definitely Stargate to come back and Firefly. But it's rumored Disney are showing interest in a new series of Firefly. I wouldn't be surprised because they do own it now. It was Fox.
Yeah.
I'd like to see The Last Starfighter be remade. Last Starfighter is a good film.
Never heard of it.
Years since I've seen that.
Unless they will do Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Is that
I
that
guess that would be like
That's the unofficial official sequel. It's very shit. Everyone says it's absolutely shit.
is that book already been made or no? The Cursed Child book.
The Cursed Child book, from what I can remember, there's two versions of it, I think. The first version is basically just the screenplay that they use for the live show. And then I think there was a re-release that J.K. done where she actually rewrote it. The screenplay didn't fit the book style. I could be wrong, though.
Okay.
By the gods of science fiction says, I have to say Elvis was the best one for me. Best film of the year.
It's very good.
Film Fanatic, I'm guessing that's 5 minutes into the TV series, but that's because he's not a big fan of Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. Danny said thanks. I said anytime. Matt said great having you on. Bow, afternoon lads, just escaped from the missus. You was mentioned earlier. I watched about 10 minutes of The Witcher. Absolute garbage. Not my cup of rosy. Yeah, I've not. I don't know. I ain't got no interest. I find that sort of concept of show difficult to get into. Mike's here from Did You See That? Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Hi.
Young Luke is in the house. How you doing, Luke? Hope you're well. Okay. Geek Legion of Doom. Yes, I've not watched Six-Headed Shark Attack. I would. I said if it had 7 heads. I think they should reboot James Bond and have it in the 60s.
I agree.
Go.
I agree.
Yeah.
As someone who's only ever seen one James Bond film, and that is the most recent one, I do agree. Put it back to the 60s. I think now it'd be more looked at more favorably. I think if it's got put back to the 60s, which is where it first started. So, like I haven't seen any of the modern or even the classic, so I don't know. But for me, I would love to see it being kicked back to the 60s.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to see them maybe redo the novels again. you know, another interpretation of the original novels. That could be done in the 60s.
See, what about you, Dan? You got any thoughts on this?
I think it'd be good, to be honest. I think it'd be cool to be set in that sort of era again. I think it'd be kind of interesting to watch, and it'd be a lot of fun, I think. Yeah.
I've got, like I do with other stuff, I've got probably quite an inflammatory view on this. I don't think they could do it. James Bond himself as a character is misogynistic. He's everything that they don't want him to be and they want to get away from in a character. He doesn't reflect. He you know, and they've even done this. They've mentioned that he's a dinosaur in the, you know, in the films. The way that society is changing now, and everything we have to accept in films, I can't see them going back to the 60s and giving it a realistic feel of what that era was like without being tarnished by some agenda-driven politics. That's my thoughts. I think it'd be very difficult because they want to move away from James Bond being that kind of an individual. So do you go back to the 60s and make him more modern day man, more in touch with his feelings, or do you give us a realistic interpretation of the 60s, which they are scared to do?
Yeah, it's probably something they couldn't do because of just how it is nowadays. It's just, maybe it might not work like as a movie, really.
It's an interesting.
I don't know.
The problem is that they are then starting to get away from the way the character is written.
Yeah, they are.
Unfortunately. But
I know, but it's not, and that's exactly what they want, though, isn't it? That's what they want. They don't want the character, you know, a womanizing. You know what I mean? It's
male chauvinist.
Yeah, they don't want it. Phil Fanatic's already shot off, I'm guessing by now, because that was 20 minutes ago. Highlander 1, brill, others rubbish, apart from 4, just to see Duncan in the movie. Yeah, I like 4. 5 was, I've never revisited that ever. That's a bad film. Even worse than the second one, I'd say. AJ, favourite DC film of all time? Superman 1978, Superman a movie. Anyone got a favourite DC film? Or I'd say Zack Snyder's Justice League is up there. I love that. I loved it.
I like Man of Steel. Fantastic. I really enjoyed Man of Steel. Underrated. But yeah, Superman, the first Superman, still, yeah, holds a special place.
Yeah. Dan, Mike. Dan, Mike.
I'm trying to think if I've actually seen a DC film in full. And I'm drawing a blank, so I'm out on this question, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
I'd say Man of Steel was quite memorable. I don't know, to be honest. I'm sort of out of touch, like with just DC in general. Like nowadays, I've sort of like, it's sort of a bit of a blind spot for me. I've been too overswamped by Marvel.
You think you've got comic book fatigue? I think maybe a lot of people are feeling that. There's just so many comic book films coming out, TV series. I mean, could you imagine if they started doing live action TV series for DC as well?
They probably will. Well, they have, haven't they? Like, sort of.
Well, yeah. I suppose that, yeah.
Well, DC have overdone it on TV with
they have,
with the CW, and not only that, you've got the HBO Max shows as well. There is a lot. There was a lot of it, and even me being a comic book fan, I can say now that there is fatigue set in, and that's why I'm not excited for anything coming up.
Thinking about DC, who I'd say my favorite DC superheroes are, going back to my childhood, it'd have to be either the Teen Titans from the original Teen Titans TV series, or Static Shock from, again, his cartoon TV series.
Yep. All right, so Dr. Impossible and a Counterpunch. How you doing?
Hello.
Give me Subway starring Isabel Adjani and Christopher Lambert, and maybe a film called Night Moves with Lambert. Never been a fan of Highlander. Back in 1986, Cannon put it out with Clockwise. Okay. You're just doing this stuff to wind me up.
Well, like me, when I say First Contact is the best Star Trek movie ever made.
Wow. For you. But Dr. Impossible and a Counterpunch just makes me feel so inadequate. Thoughts on Marvel Studios' Vision Quest, which is an potential upcoming Vision continuation of the Vision character after the events of WandaVision.
Another one.
Don't really know anything about it.
I'm kind of interested to see how that goes, because there was another character that got announced to have a TV show as well that's linked with Vision in the comics or something like that. I can't remember exactly it, but it's going to be interesting because I had, like, after WandaVision, I wanted to know what happened to White Vision, where he's at now, and what he's been up to.
Guess we'll find out in WandaVision. West. We'll see what happens. Kel says hello. Hello, Kel. Luke says hello back. What does everyone think of Westworld season 5 being scrapped? That's the first I've heard of it.
Never seen
Not
the show.
watched No,
Yeah,
no,
I've heard of it's being like discontinued or something.
Yeah,
But no, I haven't seen it though.
That means that I shall cancel my pre-order of season 4, because if they cancel it and there's no conclusion, then I'm not happy chappy. A remake of Doc Savage, Man of Bronze, could be interesting if done in a serious tone. Doc Savage, anyone seen that?
No.
I know of Doc Savage. It's an old. That used to be based. I'm sure that's based on a comic book, if I'm correct. 4K Chef, afternoon, gents.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
keep it. Val, I was mentioned. I hope it was all good. Only good, mate. Only.
Always.
Yeah. Spot on about Bond, AJ, would never be made. They would hate it. The woke loonies would have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Probably.
They would. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting what they'll do with Bond. Because I know people say the 60s, and aesthetically, it would be an interesting. It would be an interesting
Absolutely.
way to go, and give us the books in the era that they were set in when they were, written. But I just can't see it. I can't see it in today's society. That's them giving us that. Yeah. When you think of it like that, do you know what I mean? Just I can't see it happening. 4K Chef. I watched Highlander for the first time recently, picking up that beautiful set, and it's now one of my favourites, along with the banger of a Queen track. Yes.
Oh yeah, I mean the soundtrack just enhances it, doesn't it?
It does. They were only brought on to do two songs, and they said, "Do you want us to do the whole soundtrack? We want to do more. We want to do." I think one member of song each done a song for it, wrote one of the songs or something like that. If I had it's in the special features bit, they were talking about it, and it was on, but I was sort of it's nice to say. If you ain't watched Highlander, watch Highlander, people. Seriously, it's a good film.
One that I need to watch.
Pete,
I probably will watch it.
yeah, no, Highlander's a good film. It's do you know what it's about? I mean, well, you've seen Michael.
Yeah, I've seen the TV series.
He knows the gist of it.
Yeah.
Geezer, they live down through the ages and they fight.
Yeah, I think there's even an anime-inspired film about it, saying like the 22nd century or something like that.
Yeah, there is an anime.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah, I have
bits of that. I used to have it. And I've seen bits. I remember seeing bits of that, but I never finished it.
Yeah. And I think there might have been an animated series as well. Something else there might have been, but I may be wrong. My mind might be playing me. Might be playing.
Mandela effect.
Yeah,
Or it's just, AJ getting old. Could be that.
could be old. It could be age. Yes. Do you think that they will make Marvel Studios Doctor Strange free? Yes.
Yeah.
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 Didn't it say at the end
Yeah.
that Doctor Strange will return? So
Yeah, they'll do
it's
it for free.
so
Mm.
it's without a shadow of a doubt they're going to make a third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm more excited for the new Ant-Man film over Black
I
Panther.
am as well. Because I
Yeah,
loved,
I'd say the new
Yeah.
Ant-Man film.
yeah, I loved Ant-Man and the second one. Absolutely loved them. So I'm going to be very interested. I might even actually go see it in cinema.
And seeing Kang being introduced to it, I think he's
Yeah.
going to be the new
Yeah.
Thanos.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
Phase
And,
5.
Yeah,
I think that's what we need now. I think this season, Phase 4 has been all over the place.
Yeah.
I think we now need something that's going to set up, several Avengers films with a new threat.
Yeah, Kang
Yeah.
is that new threat. That is how it's going, because it's called the Multiverse Saga.
Yeah.
For Phase 4, 5, and 6. So yeah, he's definitely the big bad of it. And I do love the actor who plays him. He's fantastic.
Teased in Loki, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in Loki. I also think, this is kind of bridging different TV shows now, I also think he would make a fantastic master in Doctor Who. I think he would be perfect for that role.
Yeah. I guess they will recast the Master as well, won't they? Because
I honestly hope that we get a rest of the Master for a while, because it's been kind of non-stop since Series 8 with the Master being in it. I mean, it was that way as well when the Master was first introduced during the John Pertwee era, where he was in pretty much every episode for that season. It's either season 7 or season 8 of the Classic Who. He was in every single episode.
I'd like to see John Sims come back, actually, because he was brilliant.
I like him, but I'd much rather see
Missy. Fantastic.
He is fantastic. I prefer Missy, though. Missy is the best Master that we've gotten.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Master-wise, they always change. With a new showrunner, they would change who plays the Master. That's the only thing. As much as the Doctor changes, the Master would change as well. But I'm sure that the Master will be back. They won't give him a rest. Joker's an awesome DC movie. Joker's good. Is a good film. But I've always said that every time I watch it, I hate it. Okay, I shouldn't say hate. Every time I watch it, I like it less and less as a Joker film, but more and more as a film.
As a standalone. Yeah.
That's how my cousin tried to sell it to me. Is like, don't look at it as a Joker film set in the Batman universe, but look at it as its own separate thing.
You should look at it as a sequel to Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
I think.
Luke saying hello. Not sure about the best DC film, but the best Marvel film is Punisher with Dolph, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. It's got to be Thomas Jane.
See, I don't mind the Dolph Lundgren Punisher film. It's not a bad film, and I did review it a while ago, didn't I? And it's quite clever in its story, in that him being about is what sets up, and him getting rid of crime is what creates this power vacuum for the Yakuza and all these other people to come in and take over. He actually creates the situation that he has to go in and sort out.
Have you seen Warzone yet, Dan?
No. It's there. It's there on the watch file. It's there.
Yeah.
Cal says the best Marvel film is Endgame. I did really enjoy Endgame.
I did, yeah. As someone who didn't watch a lot of the MCU movies, like I watched Phase 1, 2, 3 out of order, and there's actually still is a few from the Infinity Saga that I still haven't seen. But I did enjoy it. Endgame, I did enjoy it. I kind of preferred Infinity War though.
I preferred Endgame. It was the emotional punch. It was that closure that it gave to everything that worked for me. Infinity War is a good film, but it is light on story. It's more just action packed, and I get why people go to that. Might go that way, but I like Endgame has more to it, more substance. Shall we say? And then I really like it. I watched it when it came out. I watched it twice in one day. The first day it came out. 3 hours, 6 hours I spent watching it. It was that good for me. So I'm going to make these the last two messages anyway. So Luke says, I hope that Scarlet Witch will come back. Some people are saying that she's coming back in Agatha TV series. I know she's coming back. The character won't be left.
She is coming back, but whether the Agatha TV series is a prequel or a sequel is yet to be seen. So
yes, and one I'm going to leave it. This will be the last message, and then we'll wrap up. So thoughts on David Tennant back as the Doctor? I think it's amazing and great. I'm looking forward to it next year, November. So thoughts on David Tennant returning as the Doctor? I'll go last because
I'll go second last.
My thoughts are.
I think we might share the same thoughts, judging by our beard strokes.
Yeah.
No, I'm not well versed in the Doctor Who franchise. You guys, I'll leave you guys to it.
I'll go first.
Go on.
I'll go first. Yeah, I mean, I can see why it's been done. I think obviously the Jodie Whittaker series is, the ratings have gone down. Obviously, you've got Russell T Davies taking over, wanting to revitalise it. So obviously bringing Tennant back. I mean, it's an interesting concept, degeneration. We've never seen that before, have we?
Degeneration, have we?
Not that I know of, anyway. But...
No, we haven't seen a degeneration before. Even in Classic Who, we haven't seen a degeneration.
No. So, from that point, but I don't think we won't see the same David Tennant that we saw 10 years ago or whatever it was. He's going to be a different, he's obviously the same guy, but he's going to be older. He's going to be a bit different, so yeah, it's nice to see him come back, but it's going to be for, 2 or 3 episodes, something like that. So
yeah. The 60th anniversary, the 3 specials that they're doing for that.
Yeah, I'm sure obviously the ratings are going to go probably through the roof with that one, but
shadow of a doubt.
Nice to see, definitely, but yeah.
So
is it needed? Maybe not.
What's your opinion, Mike, on that?
Okay, here we go. I like and dislike it at the same time. Like Matt said, I get why they've done it. There's the rumors that he's been brought back to revitalize the show, but in an interview, David Tennant did say himself, Russell, and Catherine Tate were in a group chat, and they were joking, what if we did, come back for just one more adventure, and then Russell said, the next day after that, Russell said, I am coming back as showrunner. So that's, I think, how it happened. Whether or not that was Russell's initial plan of action or not is yet to. It's Russell. We'll probably never know. But with him being confirmed as the 14th Doctor, it's interesting. Some people are saying that it's the Celestial Toymaker, who hasn't been seen since the first Doctor, who is another Time Lord, was messing with him. And decided, I want to fight the 10th incarnation. I mean, mess with the Doctor's regeneration. That could still happen. I think the reason why why Jodie degenerated into 10, or as it's announced, he is the 14th Doctor, regenerated back into him, I think it was what the Master had done with the Force regeneration. I don't think the Master had a full grasp of the technology. Only the Celestial Intervention Agency in Gallifrey knew how to use that stuff. I think with Sasha's Master, he just winged it, and because of that, and because the regeneration degeneration back kind of messed with that type of thing. That's why I think it could have been the Celestial Toymaker with the way that the clothes changed in the regeneration. We've never seen that happen before. That's never happened in any regeneration, even in Classic Who. But I'm very interested to see how things go in November of next year.
Okay, so you're looking at it from a narrative perspective within the context of the story as to why David Tennant's coming back. Although we're looking at it from a external perspective. I'll tell you why David Tennant's coming back. Right, I'll tell you. And okay. Doctor Who's dying. Right, no two ways about that. Doctor Who's been on for nearly 15 years. It's dying.
20 years, actually.
Right, nearly 2005 it came back. Right, so Doctor Who's dying a death. The Jodie Whittaker era has, even though people have told me that it's not, they believe that the ratings haven't dropped. That
they all know they did. I have seen them.
I know they've dropped massively. Right, so you've come out of an era of a woman as the Doctor, which has potentially pretty much failed. Right, and now you're going into another era, another untested era of the Doctor, with a black gay man cast in the role. Whether he's been cast for his ability in acting or whether he's been cast for other reasons, agenda-driven, I don't know. I'm hoping that it would be the former of those two things.
After the announcement, Russell did say that Russell had somebody else in mind for the 15th Doctor. But it was after seeing Ncuti as the last audition, that's what made Russell.
But let's live in the real world. They would say that. They're not going to tell you anything other than it was the perfect casting, right? Now, you've gone into another era of Doctor Who now, untested, where potentially the ratings could fall even more, right? So what you do is you get David Tennant back in this for 3 episodes in this middle bit to bump them ratings up going into this new era. That's solely the reason that they've done David Tennant returning. It's got very little to do with the fact it's the 60th anniversary. That just happens to be where it's fallen. And I can tell you now that Doctor Who will not be cancelled on this new guy. They will, if Doctor Who's going to get cancelled, they will do one more regeneration where he regenerates into a middle-aged white fella and then give it a chop there. Because they will not have it fail on someone of a woman or someone of color. Simple.
I don't think the show will ever get cancelled because with that new merger with Disney, since Disney is actually providing funding for the new show with the Ncuti Doctor, since it's going to be aired outside on Disney Plus outside of the UK and Ireland, which I'm still pissed off about. I don't see it getting cancelled anytime soon.
Yeah, but that's just happened. So the future's, you know what I mean? That could create in the future. But anyway, so final thoughts, people. Final thoughts. We're there. We've run over by 8 minutes. So let's wrap this up because I didn't really want to overrun. I know that for Dan over in Australia, it must be about 3 a.m.
Yeah, 10 past.
So let's wrap it up quickly and let's anyone got anything? What we got to look forward to on each other's channels? Don't worry about me because there's always something coming. I've done with everyone else. Fire away, Michael.
Well, as I mentioned in the beginning, I am going to be filming a very special live DVD and Blu-ray hunt where I'm going up to Dublin to film it, which means I could find more VHS tapes, which I've started collecting for slightly, and more Blu-rays and DVDs, that type of fun stuff. That will be coming out towards the end of this month / beginning of December. Speaking of actually Doctor Who, on the 23rd of this month, I have announced it on my Instagram. I am going to be reviewing the very first episode of Doctor Who, An Unearthly Child, for the 59th anniversary of the show, to see, does it hold up? Is it worth watching as a modern Doctor Who fan? Spoiler alert, no, it's not. I suggest watch the first episode of the 4 episodes and then just jump straight into Dalek.
Cool. All right. Dan, what about yourself? What's upcoming? What you got going on?
So I've got Nicolas Cage reviews coming up every weekend. I've got adaptation coming out tomorrow, and then the following weekend I've got The Wicker Man. So watch The Wicker Man. That'll be interesting. You guys will have. I'm sure you guys have a lot of thoughts about that movie. I'm sure. But yeah, and then on the following week, I've got the series I do on my channel where I talk about all the films I watched in said month. So I'll do that. I've done that for like the October month that's passed. And that's about it, really. Got a collectible talk coming up where I'm talking about my ET digibook that I've got back there. And I've got just a random video that I've done coming up about just some of my favorite underrated films that I think people should watch. And I've just selected them from my collection and just,
Cool stuff to look forward to. Matt, yourself?
Yeah, so for the next 3 weeks, we'll be continuing the Alien franchise. Started that today, so yeah, pop and go and have a look at that one. And then next Saturday, join us on my channel with AJ, and we've got special guests, Dan from Dan's Man Cave, and we've got Trevor from Double Bill Movies, and we're going to be sort of, as it's the Remembrance weekend, we're going to be sort of looking at war films, talking about war films. So yeah, please join us next Saturday for that one.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for joining, and Danny, obviously, for the hour that he came in. That was great to see him. And as for me, it's just business as usual, so I won't bore anyone with that. And I'll just say goodbyes and see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the questions.
Thanks very much.
And take care.
Bye.
Bye.